federal, state, and local levels. And if we succeed at getting the human and physical infrastructure bills that we're working hard on in Washington, D.C. this month, we get them successfully passed through the Senate, those opportunities will greatly increase. I know that the grant application process can be cumbersome and time-consuming. However, the work that your organizations do in our community is so important that it makes the time and effort spent filling out the applications more worth it. And I hope that the institutional knowledge shared by Judy today will help you identify funding opportunities and put together the best application for your organization this month. If you need any assistance filling out a federal grant, Grants.gov has a 24/7 hotline. I know that the grant application is 1-800-518-4726. Additionally, support at Grants.gov is the email to use if you have questions during the process. And I remember my office is also here. If your organization is going up for a grant, please don't hesitate to reach out to my office for guidance or a letter of support. Again, thank you for attending today's grants webinar. I look forward to following the great work that you and your organizations do in our community. Note that this webinar will also be recorded and available on my Facebook and YouTube pages, so please do not hesitate to share this session with anyone you think might find it useful. And I'm now going to turn this over to Judy. If your organization is going up for a grant, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you for inviting me to come and speak today to your audience. So today what I'm going to discuss is it's an overview for all applicants that are interested in applying for federal grants through the Grants.gov website. So Grants.gov is the website where the federal grant-making agencies go to post announcements of their grant funding opportunities, and where applicants such as yourself can go to the website, search to find funding opportunities that you want to apply for, and actually apply for those opportunities. So I'll start by navigating Grants.gov, showing you a little bit about what the website looks like itself, if you haven't already seen the website. I'll also cover the registration process, how applicants would go about searching grants, what's in a grant funding opportunity, using Workspace to create and prepare your application and then to submit when done. Track your application through its submission process to make sure that the agency, the federal agency for which you are applying for funding, retrieves your application. And at the end, I also have included some tips and support resources for you to use as well. So navigating Grants.gov is basically the two things on the homepage that you're going to be interested in the most are going to be the Search Grants tab as well as the Applicants tab. Grants.gov has several resources on our website. We have YouTube videos that we've recorded in 2 and 3 minute snippets that will provide you with information about the site itself and any process that you would need to maneuver through. So they're very, very useful. You could go there and get help. We also have an online user guide and free FAQs and more. And at the end, I will provide the toll-free telephone number as well as the email address for you if you run into an issue. We have a help desk that's currently available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide you with assistance during this process. You can also sign up to receive email notifications if you're interested in a particular funding opportunity or perhaps a particular agency that you know may be coming out with funding. You can narrow your search by selecting a specific federal agency that may have that funding. So there's many things you can do. You can save the subscriptions that you sign up for to receive these email notifications as well. So the registration process is primarily done in 3 steps. So if you don't already have one, and I'm assuming this presentation is going to focus mainly on organizations, because organizations are usually, well, most of the funding opportunities are usually for organizations. So if you're an organization, you don't already have one, you're going to have to go to the Dun & Bradstreet website and get what we call a DUNS number. You'll have to take with you your tax ID number and a few other items from the IRS with respect to your organization. This process, getting a DUNS, usually takes about 1 to 2 days. It's not a very long process. So if you haven't started and you don't have a DUNS number, you'll want to do that soon. You can reach the page where you would go to start your registration here in this link. I will share these slides as well at the end of the presentation. Once you have a DUNS number, the person at your organization that we consider the EBiz point of contact, which really means the electronic business point of contact for all activities for your organization, will need to go into the sam.gov website. This is where you will register for a sam.gov account. And once your registration is active, you'll be able to go in Grants.gov and approve everyone that has an account, everyone that you want within your organization to access Grants.gov and to create your application in Workspace on the Grants.gov website. just so you know, you want to start this process early because getting a SAM.gov account can take 1 to 2 weeks to actually happen. So get started early in the registration for both DUNS and SAM.gov. Once your account is active, your organization's data and your eBiz point of contact information are all transferred from SAM.gov over to Grants.gov. It's at this time where you can assign roles to the various members of your organization so that they can basically create workspaces to prepare applications and then submit them on behalf of your organization. One thing that you need to keep in mind if you're the e-business point of contact for your organization is that you make sure that you renew your SAM.gov account on an annual basis because it will expire and you don't want that to happen. That makes things more difficult for you in the coming years if you want to submit without an active or current registration. You'll have to go through the registration process again. That slows everything down. So make sure, again, if you're the eBiz POC, you must renew your SAM.gov account annually. The registration in Grants.gov can happen at any time. And you would do so by basically filling out a simple web form where you would create your username and your password. Here is where you could also subscribe to receive Grants.gov alerts. These would tell you when we have our routine system maintenance downtime or system development releases. So you want to make sure that you get those alerts, as well as the Grants.gov newsletter. So I just spoke a little bit about the e-business point of contact, the electronic business point of contact. This person, again, is the one that goes into SAM.gov and registers for an account. Once your account for your organization is active, then you assign people within your organization particular roles so that they can actually go into Grants.gov and do what needs to be done. In other words, prepare your application and submit it. Now, the AOR role that you see at the top on the right is what we refer to as basically for the applicant that's going to apply for the grant. We call this role the authorized organization representative. You'll want your eBiz point of contact to assign that role to your account. And then there are other people within your organization that you may not necessarily want to actually submit the application, but you may want them to go in and create a workspace where you and your team can go in and at the same time prepare your application for submission. You actually can add people that have a Grants.gov account to your workspace. You can have them work on certain pieces of the application itself, like the budget or the project narrative and so forth. So it's important that the e-business point of contact assigns roles to all the people within the organization that they want to have access to Grants.gov to create applications and to submit them. So searching grants on Grants.gov is a task that some struggle with, and it's mainly because there's so many opportunities posted. There are 26 federal grant-making agencies within the federal government that use Grants.gov to post all of their competitive discretionary grant funding opportunities. So that's the reason why there's so many opportunities. So the red box highlighted here on the left-hand side of the screen provides you with a space where you can type in a keyword or key phrase, or if you know a grant funding opportunity, you can put that in to search, or a CFDA number. Either one of those identifiers will allow you to begin your search. So there are certain columns on the search page that will provide certain information. So on the left, you have the opportunity number. These numbers are assigned by the federal agencies for which you are applying for funding. There's an opportunity title. And like the top one, it says the Science of Learning and Augmented Intelligence Program. Next to that, on the far right, is the abbreviation of the agency. And in this case, it's NSF, which is the National Science Foundation. And to the right of that is the opportunity status, and then so forth, the posted date and the closed date. Now, posted date means that the opportunity was opened on a particular date. Now, this is an old screen capture, so that's why you see the dates in the past. But it's, if you went to Grants.gov today, you would see many posted or open that would have the current dates. So the opportunity status, the reason why I bring this up is because there are different statuses that an opportunity can be in when you go to the search page at first. So highlighted or defaulted, a default selection is the forecasted opportunities and the posted opportunities. Again, posted just means open. So the forecasted opportunities are basically kind of a glimpse into the future. It's sort of an idea that the agencies are planning for a grant program that they plan to post in the near future. So you don't want to disregard those because they may be of interest to you, but just know that you can actually apply for them if they're in the forecasted status. The only way you can actually submit an application is if it's in the posted or currently open status, as several of these in the slide, in the screenshot are highlighted. We also provide applicants and anybody who comes to our website with an opportunity to search for closed opportunities. These are opportunities, grant funding opportunities that have closed recently within the last month or so. So if you don't find anything that you're interested in, or you thought for sure there was an opportunity that the EPA had published and you can't find it, it could be that it just closed. So you can select closed as your opportunity status. And then also there's the archive status. Now, you can see by this number next to archived is we don't delete the opportunities from the past because we want to give you an opportunity to look for older opportunities that have been published and awarded many, many years ago. So you can go back and look at things if they fit your search criteria that you can see a particular federal agency posts, or if you have a certain program that you want to get funding for, if what your eligibility would cover, that sort of thing. So what's actually in a funding opportunity? So if you were to click on the tab forecasted, and in this particular example, this is a screen view of a forecasted opportunity, you would see the first thing that would come up would be information about the opportunity itself. It would tell you the estimated post date or open date and the estimated due date of this particular opportunity when it's actually posted. It will also provide you with an estimated amount of program funding that this particular grant agency is planning to fund, and an estimated date in which they plan to make a grant award. So to the right of the forecast, and just keep in mind that not all opportunities are posted with a forecast. Many are, but many aren't. So in some cases, you'll click on an opportunity and you'll be in a synopsis. And if there is a synopsis, that means that the opportunity is open and in most cases available for you to submit an application directly on Grants.gov or another site, which they will provide you the information to reach it within the synopsis. So again, in the funding opportunity synopsis, you're going to see the open and close date. You're going to see the program funding amount that that agency plans to fund for that particular program, and the estimated number of awards that the agency plans to make. To the right of the synopsis is the version history. And this is important in case an agency changes something. They make a modification to their opportunity. You're going to want to know what they actually changed. In some cases, they may extend the due date. In some cases, they may add or change up the eligibility criteria. But whatever change they make, you can look back and see what that change was, what date it was made, and so forth. You can also, again, as I talked a little bit about asking to receive or subscribing to receive email notifications, you can also subscribe directly to the opportunity here by selecting the subscribe button. To the right of the version history tab is the related documents tab. Here is where you can actually download documents that will provide you with what we call the full announcement, or the funding opportunity announcement, that gives you a lot of information about the agency, what they're providing in terms of, or basically what they're looking for in terms of a grant application, and a lot of other information that you'll find very helpful. So you want to definitely check the related documents section within the opportunity itself. And again, at any time, you can click on the subscribe button and you'll receive email notifications if the opportunity is modified in any way. And lastly, to the far right of the synopsis, past the version history and related documents, is the package. So here you would want to click to view the actual forms that you'll be required to fill out once the opportunity is open. And you can also click on apply and begin creating your workspace so that you can prepare your application to get it ready for submission. So Workspace, again, is it's basically a space on the website where everyone in your organization can work towards creating grant applications. And these people within the organization that you allow into the workspace will be able to participate in any role that you deem they should be able to help you write this application. So what is Grants.gov Workspace? Again, it's just a shared online environment where all of you can work at the same time to fill out all the forms. This is a screen capture of what it really looks like. So in this case, the workspace was created, and you can see that there's one form there that's already in progress. So it's going to tell you a lot about the status of the application workspace's application, I should say. And it's also going to give you some information at the top in terms of the progress, the opening date of the opportunity, the closing date, the workspace owner, whoever that person is that created the workspace. All that information will be there. You can also click on viewing the application. You can click on any attachments that have been uploaded to the forms. You can see who all the participants are and so forth. Again, the participants are those people that it basically just lists all the folks that are you as the workspace owner have added to your workspace. And this is important so that who you can reach out to if you need to. There's contact information in there as well. And often people creating package or applications to submit you can select, people that create workspaces can select people that have a Grants.gov account that may not necessarily be within your organization, but it's someone that you trust that you would like to bring into your workspace to help you fill out the application itself. So it's pretty flexible when it comes to that. Again, there's three basic accounts and different access levels: the EBiz POC, the AOR, who actually submits the application, and the Workspace Manager or owner. That's the person that creates the workspace itself. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the YouTube chat or directly onto Facebook. So adding participants is pretty self-explanatory. And again, if you have any questions at all about using Workspace, setting up a workspace, adding people, what the roles mean, you can always reach out to our help desk, available 24/7. So there's two ways that you can fill out the forms. You have access to fill out the forms through what we call a web form, which basically is in the workspace itself. Or if you would prefer, say you're somewhere where you have a bad internet connection, and hopefully that's you are in a good place where you do have a strong internet connection. But if you don't, you can download the form and save it to your computer. It's in a PDF version, and you can fill the form out and then upload it. And you can go between forms. You can have some forms filled out via the web forms, or you can choose to download the form itself. It's a PDF, Adobe PDF version, and fill it out and upload it to the workspace. You can submit applications using both of these methods of filling out forms. So if you're filling out the web forms, they'll look a little bit like this. And wherever you see a red asterisk is considered a mandatory field. So you'll have to fill that out. And it's really easy to click through the fields. It's like any web form. We have, the state type of applicant drop-down menu. We have a date picker. It's easy to fill out. You wouldn't have any problems filling out the web form itself. It auto saves every 5 minutes. Now with the PDF form, it looks similar to this. What you're seeing here on the left is a workspace cover sheet. And this would be in obviously the PDF format. And the PDF forms look exactly like the old SF-424 forms. If you had ever applied for a federal grant in the past, this would look familiar to you. And again, all the fields highlighted in yellow are considered, mandatory fields. They must be filled out. So once the application is complete, the Workspace Manager will then notify any user that has the AOR role, or the applicant authorized applicant organization representative. And that person, again, is the one, you have to have that role in order to submit an application. It's really important to remember that when your application is submitted in Grants.gov, the agency for which you are applying for funding will need to go into Grants.gov and retrieve your application. So it's going to end up with the agency that is providing the funding for a particular program. So you're going to want to make sure that you track your submission and make sure that the agency receives your application. And if you have questions about the program itself, you'll need to speak with someone at the federal agency program office that they will be in the best position to answer any of your questions about what it is they're looking for in a grant application. Once you submit the application, you'll receive an on-screen confirmation receipt, and it'll provide you with what we call the Grants.gov tracking number, which looks similar to this. It starts with an uppercase word grant, and then there's a series of numbers after it. That's a unique number. Each time you hit submit, it will generate a new submission with a new tracking number. The date and timestamp will also be in this confirmation receipt, and this is considered the official time of your submission. So when you click submit, it captures that date and timestamp. You'll also receive all this information in the form of an email. This information will go to the applicant who submitted, or the person with the AOR role who submitted the application. The first email that you'll receive will be the confirmation. It will tell you that Grants.gov has received your email. Your application. The second email that you'll receive as AOR is Grants.gov successfully verified your submission, or no, it was rejected and here's why. And the third email you'll receive is that the agency for which you are applying for funding has gone into Grants.gov and retrieved the actual application. So you'll want to look for those messages. And they happen within minutes of each other. So it's not something that you will be waiting on. But again, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can always reach out to the help desk. Again, you can track the status to see that the agency has retrieved your application, such as the screenshot shows. You can also download in the form of a zip file or full PDF the application that you submitted. And here's where you can see exactly what the agency is able to retrieve from Grants.gov. We also have a mobile app that we encourage you to download either on Google Play or the App Store. You can go search on Grants.gov, you can query and save searches, you can receive notifications about opportunities as well as applications that you've submitted, and you can actually complete an application on your mobile app. So as I promised several times throughout this talk that we do have some tips for applicants. Again, you want to register early. If you don't have a DUNS number, you'll need to go and do that right away at the Dun & Bradstreet website. And you want to submit your application early too. It's really important that you don't wait until the last minute to submit your application, because anything can go wrong and you could miss the deadline. So you want to be sure that you submit early. Give yourself plenty of time in case something happens, or you forget to include something in your application submission, or you need to make sure you have time. It used to be that the applications could be rejected easily, and when people waited until the last minute, a lot of folks that worked really, really hard on applications missed opportunities. So we want to make sure that we get the word out to you that you register and submit early. You always want to thoroughly read and follow all the instructions provided by the agency. And if you don't see particular information, reach out to the contact at the agency and find out what it is they're looking for. If you're confused about what they want, reach out to them and get as much information as you can while you're preparing your application. It's also a good idea to fill out the SF424 forms first, because then you don't have to keep entering the same information over and over, because a lot of the fields are similar in the standard form, SF424 form. So you enter it once and then it gets pre-populated in all the other forms that follow. Again, you want to include sufficient program and budget details in your application. And you want to be careful not to use special characters when you save application files that will need to be, or attachments that will need to be uploaded to the forms. You want to make sure that you use the correct DUNS number, and you also want to make sure that you use a compatible PDF software. And what all the forms are created in are Adobe Reader. So it's best that you use Adobe Reader. It's free. Get the latest version and use that software to complete your forms. And in particular, if you're going to use the download, if you're going to download the forms from your workspace, fill them out and then upload them. Make sure you use Adobe. It's really important and saves a lot of time and headache. So we have a pretty big social media presence at this point. We have the Applicant Support Center that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's closed on federal holidays. You can reach them by emailing them at support@grants.gov, or you can call them toll free. There is also a number if you're outside the country that you can call here, and it will take you directly into the help desk. We have YouTube tutorials that I talked about, and so forth. And so I think at this point, we're good. And if you have any questions, I'd just be more than happy to answer them. So I'm going to stop sharing. Well, no, I'll keep sharing so you can get this information if you need it. And then Brian, I guess I'll turn it over to you folks. And please, if you have questions, please type them into the YouTube chat or Facebook. Okay, and thank you very much for taking a look at this. And if you have any questions, please reach out to our help desk at any time. Thank you.